So Thomas introduced you the topic of lean in manufacturing, and now I would like to end this module looking at the future. People talk about a new revolution happening in the industry today, and I'm very happy to cover this topic with Daniel Spindeldreyer. Daniel is a senior partner in Düsseldorf office, and he leads the topic of lean in manufacturing. Hello, Daniel.
Thank you, Salvatore.
I would like to start with a simple question. What is Industry 4.0 in a nutshell?
Okay, I tried in a nutshell. Basically, Industry 4.0 means that we go beyond traditional automation in manufacturing. So the idea is that we have smart objects connected, moving towards a goal-oriented process. And that is supported by digital technologies for automation, rather than just things being pushed or pulled through manufacturing, but even beyond that, in supply chain management, in development, over the whole product life cycle.
What is the improvement potential of Industry 4.0?
Well, it very much obviously depends where you are, which industry, and what is basically your target, your current state. We recently did a study where we estimated that for Germany overall, given the industry split we have, we see a 15 to 25% of cost reduction in manufacturing costs. That would be like something around 6 to 10% in total conversion cost, based on current technologies which we see in the near term available for those industries.
Yeah, and what are the best in class in this topic? Can you give us an example of companies adopting this new trend?
Well, I think generally spoken, automotive industry is quite ahead, since they have been traditionally among the leaders of automation. So they are very fast in adapting towards Industry 4.0. Examples are, for example, smart moving lines, where Audi, as one OEM example, is working on production lines where cars basically find their own way, rather than being pulled on a pearl chain, as in a traditional setup. Lean offers you a process for continuously improving a production environment, and it offers you a traditional toolset of things to do. I would consider Industry 4.0 as an additional toolset, ideally fitting into the same process. So to us, a perfect state is to achieve continuous improvement process where you work with both lean tools like systematic problem solving and with digital support to get to the best target state for your process.
In your opinion, which technology has the biggest impact?
Well, it's hard to pick across all. If I would have to pick one, I would say it's likely big data and analytics, since the amount of information we have available, if we have a smart look at that, and we can make the right decisions real time and strategic decisions in our manufacturing environment. For a lot of our clients, this is still one of the biggest challenge. Coming down from very simple things like real OEE tracking and problem solving based on that one, towards more advanced things like predictive maintenance scenarios. I think that's probably the biggest change we will see over the future.
Daniel, in your opinion, which technology advances have the largest impact?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a bit challenging to pick one, but let me try. I would say for most companies we see that vertical and horizontal data integration is a major issue. Sort of the vision of really having common data sets from really product development towards manufacturing, and then transferring that, for example, into maintenance support via augmented reality is a very strong perspective. The other very strong perspective on the data side is big data and analytics, where we basically still see a big need in a lot of our clients, from sort of rather simple things like understanding where really your OEE is and going into targeted problem solving, towards broader things like finding the right pattern for your preventive maintenance. Beyond that, I think there are sort of technologies which will have a big impact in certain industries. 3D printing is often nominated as one. So for some industries, I think this will have a strong impact, like, for example, aircraft parts, as we see currently, but beyond that, partly automotive parts, casting scenarios, but not that relevant for all industries or for the whole set of industries.
This looks great for companies, but is there any challenge they will face?
Well, we see quite a challenge, and I think first and foremost, it's a skill set. Yeah. So I mean, in the old days, you would basically ask for a system support for your manufacturing environment and someone would install it. These days, basically, we're more talking about an ecosystem of different solutions. That means you have to understand these solutions much better. You have to have those skills in-house. And we really advise our clients basically to start building these skills and to make sure that their employees understand the opportunities in Industry 4.0. That's a big challenge. Then there's still some real-life practical challenge. I think data security is one of the most mentioned one. And beyond that, at the end of the day, we see that the success of Industry 4.0 is largely driven that a lot of solutions are much more affordable these days than they were in the past. Still, there is often quite an investment needed to really move fast. So that for many companies is another challenge.
Thank you. What prerequisites are necessary to start this journey?
I think the prerequisites is really to understand those technologies and having that anchored in your organization. So you need essentially a skilled workforce that understands the opportunities of Industry 4.0, and you need a continuous improvement process mentality, which really says, okay, I will accept that these solutions will evolve and that as they evolve, I can use them to optimize my manufacturing setup.
And can you describe a typical Industry 4.0 implementation?
At the moment when we help our clients to start their journey towards Industry 4.0, we typically as a first step go in and we look basically where they are. So we look at typical challenges in their manufacturing environment and we basically start selecting what we call use cases. So we do not talk about pure technologies, we talk about application of technologies towards certain problems. So we would then, as a second step, list those and understand sort of what is a solution. And in the third step, we would prioritize them because at the end of the day, the business case will be decisive whether we would recommend our client to implement a certain solution. And then after we have prioritized those solutions we want to implement, we could go for an implementation preparation as in a qualification, education, discussion with potential vendors, and then in the actual real-life implementation on the shop floor. And that over time becomes a repetitive process. So we see that as a continuous loop moving towards a better and better implementation of Industry 4.0.
Thank you. This is really interesting. And what are the critical success factors for the implementation of Industry 4.0?
I think the most critical is to spend enough time to understand the scope of solutions which is out there, but then as well to focus and really focus on the business cases. As engineers, we are always fascinated by the technical solutions which are sort of now available, be it augmented reality, be it 3D printing, be it advanced robotics. And I think it's very good for a company to understand those opportunities, but as well keep a focus on where it really solves your problem, where it really helps to improve your process, and to make sure that you basically think about the process itself. And you don't start automating waste just with a easy available technical solution. Yeah? So keep an eye on the process, keep focus on the business case.
This is really an exciting topic. Thank you, Daniel, for sharing your experience.
Well, I agree, it's both exciting. I mean, lean in itself and then combined with the opportunities of the digital technologies. So we very much look forward to what we see as opportunities in the future. It was a pleasure to discuss the topic with you, and to the students, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you appreciate the class.
Thank you.